Are you smiling at me? What's up you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Burgundy for those of you who don't know. So if you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or Snapchat, or on mine and my boyfriend's YouTube channel, Just Us, you would know that I had a baby. I'm just gonna jump right into this video. So I'm basically just going to do a get ready with me while telling you guys my labor and delivery story, because a lot of you did want to know an in-depth labor and delivery story. I do have my baby right here. He's staring at everything right now. He doesn't know what to think. But I also did have you guys ask me a few questions so I can answer them for you guys. So don't mind this face. This is a tired mommy face, new mommy face. If you want to hear my labor and delivery story, just keep watching. If you have been keeping up a little bit with me on social media, you would know that I had my baby. No, you would know that I went into labor. Literally, I had my baby shower the day before I went into labor, so thank God I didn't go into labor at my baby shower, because that would have been wild. But I had him exactly at 38 weeks, the date I hit 38 weeks. So we came home from the baby shower. Baby shower ended around like 6. We cleaned everything up and we got back home around 8ish. And then when we got home, we decided to go through all the gifts and separate like through the sizes and all that. So I had everything ready, and I wanted to pick a newborn outfit out for him to see if I needed to buy one. Actually, I think I had already bought one, and I wanted to see if I wanted to change it, something like that. So we're doing that or whatever, and I noticed like my lower back was hurting towards the end of the baby shower and then when we got home. So after we finished going through the gifts, my mom was like, okay little man, you can come now. And we're like, ha ha ha, like no, not yet. He still has a couple weeks to cook in there. And after that, we were just all chilling, and I was eating cheesecake, I think. And I was like, damn, my lower back hurts even more than what it did earlier at the baby shower. So I told Alan, my boyfriend, if he could rub my back when we go to bed. But I was like, I'm gonna take my makeup off first with my makeup wipes, and then you could rub my back before we go to bed. So we did that, and I think you can hear my son. And then we laid down, and I think it was around 11 when we finally laid down in bed. And I fell asleep for, I literally think an hour. It was literally an hour. And my back was hurting, and I literally felt pressure like I had to poop. Literally, I thought I had to take a big shit or something. So I go to the restroom, and I'm sitting on the toilet, and I'm trying to go, and I can't go, and I'm like, damn, am I constipated? Like, I didn't know, because I hadn't been constipated my whole pregnancy. And then I was like, maybe I am constipated because of the food I ate today, and then like it's getting close to his due date, so I just figured maybe I was a little constipated. So then I was able to go to the restroom a little bit, but not a lot that it like took away the weird pressure sensation I was feeling. Hi baby! So I was like, what the heck? Like, this has never happened to me. I've never had issues using the restroom. So I just kind of like sat there, and then I went a little bit more, and I was like, whatever, like I'm most likely constipated or something. So then I go back and I lay in bed and I go to sleep, and then 2 hours later I wake up, I look at the time, I'm like, fuck, it's 2 in the morning, like I'm tired. Hi baby! He thinks I'm talking to him. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I still feel like I have to use the restroom. I still felt like that pressure feeling, and I was like, what is going on? So I go to the restroom and I try to go and I can't go, but I did pee, and when I wiped, I noticed something was different, because I peed as well, and when I wiped, it was like, you know, like when you release your mucus plug for all the moms who have had babies. So I was told like, oh yeah, you'll release your mucus plug and then you'll have like a week or 2 before you have your baby. And I was like, oh, I think that's why I'm feeling weird, like I released my mucus plug. So I'm I'm sitting there on the toilet and I was googling like what the heck is this liquid, like I didn't, not liquid, but you know, the mucus plug. I was googling like if it was it, like I didn't know what was going on because it was a little bit like light pink, like bloody show, and I was like okay, like I'm really concerned. And all of a sudden while I'm googling, I feel something strong, which what I just pinpointed as a contraction. So I'm googling like, oh, do you have contractions when you release your mucus plug? And they said, yeah, you know, like you can, but they would be like real spaced out, something about like 10 to 15 minutes, like once in a while or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. And then boom, like 5-6 minutes later I got another contraction. I was like, that was not no 10-15 minutes. I was like, what the heck is happening right now? So I'm sitting there googling like, how often really are contractions supposed to come when you release your mucus plug? Like I'm sitting there thinking like I still have a week or two to deliver because it was only the 8th and my due date wasn't until the 22nd, and I thought I was going to go way past my date because I had no symptoms or anything of labor. So I'm sitting there like, what the hell? And boom, another contraction. And these things are like 7 minutes apart at like what I'm like looking at my time. So I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna sit here for a minute and I'm gonna time them before I go back into the room and tell Alan that I think I'm having contractions. So I'm sitting there and I'm literally timing them and they're like 7 to 10 minutes apart. And I was like, holy crap, like this is, what is happening? Like I was so confused. Yeah, I was confused. You wanted to come. You wanted to come out. So I go to the room and Alan never like wakes up when I like leave the room or come back. He usually stays asleep. And he turns around and just like looks at me, and I was like, I think I'm having contractions. And he was like, really? Like he got up and like he was like really wide-eyed. He's like, wait, are you like really? Are you serious? And I was like, yeah. I was like, and they hurt like I was like, give me your hand, like I need to squeeze your hand. Like they instantly started hurting more, like once I acknowledged that like they were literally contractions. And I was like, this can't be, like I still have 2 weeks. And I was like, we have to time them, like let's just continue to time them, like this can't be real, it can't be happening yet. They were literally 7 to 10 minutes apart. A couple of them were like 15 to 20 minutes. I was like, oh, like I'm good, like it said 15 minutes or something. And then I was like, you know what, let me call my mom. So I called my mom, she came over. I called her on the phone and she's like, what's wrong, what's the matter? And I was like, can you please come over here? And she's like, wait, why, like what's wrong? And I was like, just come over here. So she came over to the room and she walks in, she's like, what's wrong, what happened, like what's going on? And I was like, I think I'm having contractions. And then I was like, oh, like I literally was having one. And she was like, she was looking at me, she was like, Berg, you can acknowledge that? Like you can acknowledge that it's a contraction? And I was like, yes, mom, like I literally think I'm having contractions. I was just sitting on the toilet. It's been an hour, I've been timing them. Like I don't know what's going on. And she was like, oh my god. And so she sat down and we started timing them, and they were literally still like 7 to 10 minutes apart. Some of them were like 5 to 6. And I was like, what the heck? So she was like, well, you should just go to the hospital and get checked. They might just send you home. And I was like, I don't want to go all the way to the hospital and then get sent home. Mind you, I called her in the room at 3 in the morning. And we were sitting there for literally like an hour and a half and just counting them, like having a conversation about me going to the hospital to get checked. I was like, I'm not going to go and then get sent back. Like this always happens to girls. Like I was already looking at girls' stories and stuff about their labor, and it didn't really sound like mine, but then once I like accepted that I could possibly be in labor, it did sound like it. So I was just like sitting there, we're still counting, and these things are getting like more intense, and I was like, what the heck is going on? And my mom was like, literally just go get checked. And I was like, no, like being stubborn and in denial. And so I sat there for like another 30 minutes. It was like 5. She went back to bed, and I sat there again, and then I had like a really strong contraction, and I was like, fuck this, let's just go to the hospital. I don't want to deliver this baby on my bed. So we go to the hospital, we pack a bag just in case, but us thinking that we're literally gonna get sent home because we do not think that like I'm actually in labor. We leave, we go to the hospital, I go into triage because you don't get admitted until you're like actually in labor. So I'm in triage and they hook me up with all the monitors and stuff that go on your belly. I have a couple pictures, so I'll put them somewhere right here. I'm gonna be popping up pictures. I don't exactly remember what pictures I have, but I'll pop up pictures if I have something. So yeah, they put that stuff on my belly and they start monitoring my contractions, and they're like, yep, you definitely are having contractions, after they ask me all the questions and all that. And she's like, I'm gonna check you right now to see if you're dilated at all. Me not thinking I'm gonna be dilated at all. You want to tell your story too? You want to tell them how you came early? Yeah. So she checks me. Literally, that's the most painful thing ever, is getting checked. Holy shit, holy shit. Like, those hurt more than the contractions, and they literally check you, like, go in there. It literally felt like she shoved her fist up and my brains were gonna come out my nose and my eyes. Like, that was an insane pressure feeling, pain. Oh my god, I was like literally on the verge of kicking her in the face. So she checked me and she was like, oh, you're 2 centimeters dilated. And I was like, 2 centimeters dilated? See, he's telling you guys, he was ready to come out. Like, just thinking to myself, I was like, what am I gonna do? Obviously, like, I'm gonna have this baby if push comes to shove. And so I'm sitting there. She was like, I'm gonna check you again in an hour and a half to see if you're dilated anymore, and if you are, we're gonna call your doctor and see what's gonna go on. If not, we're gonna send you home. And I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna get sent home. So I'm sitting there and those contractions, oh, okay, I'll pick you up. The contractions are getting stronger, and I was like, I was just looking at Alan like in pain, and I was like, there's literally no way that I'm not like dilating right now. Like, something's happening. Like, I could feel the shit so bad. And that's when I finally like got out of my denial stage, and I was like, holy shit, like, this could possibly be happening right now. So I called my mom and told her, you know, they're gonna check me again in an hour and a half, so I'll let you know. So around 8:30 they check me again, and while I'm just laying in the bed doing nothing, she comes and checks me. Boom, 3 centimeters dilated, or like 3.5 or something like that. 3 centimeters. Then they drew a picture to show me like how much my cervix was, like, my cervix was something thinning out or something like that. And I was like, holy crap, like, I'm really gonna have this baby today, huh? Like, thinking to myself. So I call my mom. She rushes over to the hospital and she's like, go walk around the hospital for 2 hours. You can eat something, because if you are gonna be admitted, you won't be able to eat or drink anything. And I was like, all right. Me and my mom and Ellen go down to the cafeteria area, start walking around the hospital, and literally I had the strongest contraction when we were standing, when they were getting their food, and I was about to eat a yogurt or something like that. Hold on. Okay. She was like, you don't want to eat anything heavy because you don't want to poop on the table when you're having your baby. And I was like, okay, like, literally the last thing I'm thinking about. So I'm standing there waiting for the food, for them to get their food while I'm in pain. And I was like, Mom, she's like, I really think that you're going to have your baby today. She was like, there's no way that you're not going to have this baby today. And I just like start crying. Like, I had the strongest contraction, and I was like, holy crap, like, I'm really going to have this baby today. And I was just crying. Alan wasn't right there. He was like paying for food. And I was like, he's really gonna come today, like, really trying to process it to myself. And I was just like thinking, like, holy crap, like, I'm really gonna push a baby out today. I was mentally prepared for 2 weeks later, but he wants to come today, then he's gonna come today. So I continue to walk around the hospital for what seemed like 5 million hours, which was like another hour and a half. And then I finally go back up to triage, and she checks me again, and I am at a solid 4 centimeters. So I'm like progressing pretty fast. And she was like, all right, like, we're gonna admit you. They call my doctor and they admit me, and everything just seems to like move so fast but yet so slow at the same time. Like, I did not know what to expect. I just kept taking everything. Like, the pain was so bad. They told me that he was sunny side up, so that means our spines were literally rubbing against each other. and that's why it was so painful for me. And then the hospital was packed. Like literally there was like 20 plus other people delivering, not counting the people who had already delivered and who were already in there. So there was like 6-7 other people in that triage room with me, and I'm just thinking like, what do you mean there's no bed? Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Like, what if this baby wants to come out? So she's like, you're 4 centimeters dilated, something effaced. We're just gonna have you like walk around a little bit more. If you get in too much pain or if your water breaks, come back and we will have you lay in this bed until there is a room available. So they were already processing to give me a room, because right before that she was like, okay, there's literally no going back, you are having your baby today. And I was just like, how am I supposed to have my baby today if there's no room? Like, I was stressed out. So she had told me what she told me, you know, to come back if anything. We were just walking around, but I did stay really close because I was in a lot of pain, you guys. Like, I literally thought I was gonna have the baby, like he was just gonna slip out of me onto the freaking hallway floor. And so we were standing by the nursery. It was like hours, I swear to God, it was hours before I even got admitted into my room. I don't exactly remember the timestamps, but I finally got into a room and I was so exhausted. I remember right before I got into the room, we were staring into the nursery, and I literally was like, I'm gonna fucking faint. Like, I am literally gonna faint right now. Like, I was in so much pain. I was 5 centimeters dilated at this point, and every time she, like, when she checked me and told me I was 5 centimeters dilated, I was like, holy shit, like, I'm gonna kick you in the face. Okay, that was a struggle. I had to feed him and put him down for a nap. He was not having it. I literally don't remember where I left off, so I'm gonna try to make this quick because he probably will wake up again. But we were like looking into the nursery area, and I was like, holy crap. Like, I told my mom, like, I don't think I could do it, like, I can't do this. And she's like, yes you can, like, you literally can do this, like, we're made for this. She's like, it's gonna be all worth it, just keep breathing. Sorry, I'm looking at a mirror over here. She's like, just keep breathing and everything will be okay. And I was like, I literally can't, Mom. Like, and mind you, I'm like 5 centimeters at this point, not knowing, but I had literally progressed to 5 centimeters. So I was 4 to 5 centimeters for a while. So I literally just have to take the pain as it is because I can't get my epidural right now. I'm just trying to breathe through it, and I'm exhausted at this point because my baby shower was the day before. I had my eyes closed and we're looking into the nursery, and I was like, I think I'm gonna faint. Like, I was telling that to myself, and then I finally said it out loud just in case anything happened. And I told my mom, I was like, I feel lightheaded, like I'm gonna faint, like I'm so hungry, I'm exhausted. I was like, contractions take like energy out of you. And she's like, oh yeah. And she was like, but you're okay, like you're not gonna faint. And I was like, no, like I literally feel like faint and dizzy, like I'm like, my body feels weak, like I literally thought I was gonna die. I like stepped back and I like literally stumbled, and I felt like I was spinning. And I just remember telling myself, you stupid bitch, do not fucking fall, you're gonna hurt your baby, like do not fall. I was like, you stupid bitch. Like, I was like literally cussing at myself, but I was like, don't fucking fall, like are you stupid or something? So there I am going through it, having my moment, and my mom sees like the nurse, because literally like 15, 20, 30 minutes before, I don't even remember, she was like, oh, like we're getting your room ready. My mom was just like, where the fuck is the room? She wanted to meet her grandson already. She just wanted me to be out of pain too. And my boyfriend, oh my god, he couldn't even stand seeing me in pain at this point. They just kept trying to get me through it, and she finally sees the lady, and my mom was like, hello, like you said the room was getting prepared, like what's going on? She feels faint, she feels dizzy. And they're like, the room is almost ready, we'll have her come back here to triage. So they brought me back to the triage bed, and they start drawing blood from me. They like missed my vein, they did a whole bunch of stuff, had blood dripping everywhere. And she goes and checks me again, and I just look at Alan and I'm like, I swear to fucking God, I'm gonna kick her in the face. So she checks me again, and she checked me, and I was 5 centimeters and like progressing, and I think she said I was almost 100% thinned or effaced or something like that. And I was like, honestly, I can't even remember what they were saying. And I just remember saying, like, when can I get in my bed and when can I get the epidural? Yes, I did get an epidural. Don't comment anything negative about it. Everybody has different birth plans. But yeah, I got an epidural. I did what I did, and I do not regret it because I was able to enjoy my delivery, and I'll get to that in a second. So I finally got into my room, and I still didn't get my epidural for another 2 hours. I think I got into my room around 2 or 3, and I didn't get my epidural until like 5:30. So I am like literally exhausted at this point. I get admitted into my bed, and I think Alan took a little nap, and I'm just like sitting there like with my legs up, my legs up, and just breathing through the contractions, and they were literally every like 3 minutes. So I was just like they tell you to just control your breathing. So a bitch was trying to control her breathing, and it actually did help, you know, a lot to control your breathing and get through it. So I'm just like getting through it. My mom is just right there like pushing me through it. I could not have done it without her by my side, and of course Alan, but like I feel like having my mom right there was just the emotional support I needed, like with my first baby and everything. And it was just like overwhelming. I didn't think I was gonna have him that early. And then she just keeps asking the nurse like when can she get her epidural, like she wants her epidural, and the anesthesiologist was busy, so I was just waiting. My mom leaves to go get a sandwich or something. She was like, so I'm gonna go eat or whatever, and I was like, you better come back up here, because what if this baby comes? Like, we don't know what's going on. I hadn't been checked in a couple hours or something like that. So she was like, okay, I'll come back up after I get my food. So she goes to go get her food. Literally right as she walks out, 5 minutes later, not even 5 minutes later, anesthesiologist comes in to give me my epidural. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And they were gonna check me again, you know? So they were like, okay, we're gonna give you your epidural, and we're gonna start you on Pitocin to start speeding things up, and you're gonna have your baby today. And I was like, all right, give me that fucking epidural. So they give me the epidural. That didn't hurt. It didn't hurt me at all. Nothing, like I didn't even feel it. The only thing that happened was I got a cramp in my leg, and I was like, when they were putting me into the position, like they have you curl over the pillow and stuff, I got a huge cramp in my leg as soon as he started putting it in my back, and like I literally felt like a cooling effect, and I was just like, oh my god, like this is gonna take all my pain away. So they give me the epidural, it goes through, whatever. I got a cramp in my leg, and I begged the nurse to rub it out. She was not the nicest nurse at first. I had like not the nicest nurse for a few hours. So she rubs my cramp out finally, and I remember them laying me down, and they were like, so we're gonna wait like 30 minutes to see if it like takes effect throughout your body, and we'll like reposition you if you still feel it on one side, because sometimes it like only goes to one side and not the other. And I was like, okay. So they like start the Pitocin, and holy shit, right when they start that Pitocin, I feel that shit. Like I feel it so intense, and I was like, what the hell did they just do to me? Like, what is going on? Like, I had the epidural, I shouldn't be feeling anything. So I noticed like my left side is completely like pain-free. Like I can't even feel it, I can barely move it. And my right side is like I can completely feel everything, and I felt the contractions like right in my groin. So like at this point my mom walks in, and I was like, I got the epidural. I was like, but it's not working. I think I had it for like 15 minutes. I was like, it's not working on this side, like something's wrong. She calls the nurse in, and they like adjust me or whatever, and she's like, okay, so wait like another 20 minutes and we'll see what's like happening. And so I'm like, I'm sitting there, and I'm in excruciating pain, like literally 100, it felt like 1,000 times worse than what I had already felt. And I was like, oh my god, like I'm not gonna be able to push him out, I'm not gonna be able to sleep, like I just want to rest so I have the energy to push him out. I don't want anything to happen, I don't want to have a C-section or anything like that. So my mom was like, she was like, I'm gonna get the anesthesiologist. So she like goes somewhere, and she gets in contact with the anesthesiologist somehow, because he ends up back in my room, and he gives me a full syringe. So she went and got the anesthesiologist, because the nurse was like, oh, probably just isn't gonna work all the way through. And I was like, what do you mean it's not gonna work all the way through? Like, what do you mean? And my mom was like, you know what, okay, whatever. So she just stopped dealing with that nurse, and that nurse didn't even come back in my room like after I was admitted. Like she was complaining about how she hadn't eaten and all this stuff. I can't even really remember what she was saying. I was in so much fucking pain. Like I was shaking before my epidural, and she like was only caring about herself. I don't know if she was trying to distract me or whatever, but it was not okay. So yeah, my mom got a hold of the anesthesiologist. He comes back in, And I was like, listen, like this, I feel it all right here. It hurts so bad. I just want to sleep. I want to be able to push him out. I don't want any complications to happen. Like, I'm just so exhausted and in so much pain. So he goes and he puts a full syringe in, and literally my pain like dissipated. Like, it disappeared. Like, that thing was like magic. And I was just like, like a huge deep breath. And within like 5 minutes, I was out like a light. Like, I'll put pictures right here. Like, I was done. I go from shaking and holding the bed rail and pain with Alan, like with the fan on me, to literally out like a light. So I slept for literally 2 hours, and those 2 hours I was able to literally regain. No, I like prayed like before I fell asleep. I was talking to my guardian angels up above, because that bitch was a little bit nervous, and I was just praying for a safe, healthy delivery and something that I can enjoy, because then I was eager to meet my baby once all my pain was alleviated, and I knew I was gonna finally get some rest. So I woke up with a smile on my face after 2 hours of a nap, and I was like, I'm ready to deliver this baby. You know, I want to meet him now. So at this point, the next shift nurse comes in, and oh my god, she was amazing. Like, when I say I'm so blessed and thankful for the nurse I had, like, I couldn't be more thankful for the experience she gave me. Like, my guardian angels literally were listening to me when I was praying to them, because they sent me an angel of a nurse, and my experience was beautiful. Like, beautiful. I'm not gonna cry right now because I'm trying to do my makeup, but I'm already getting choked up. Hormones too, you know. So she comes in and we're talking, and she's just like having a great conversation with me, and she's like, did you get an epidural? And I was like, yeah. She's like, good for you. She's like, you do whatever you feel you need to do. She's like, I don't judge anybody. She's like, I did get an epidural as well with her kids. And she was like, I'm gonna deliver your baby today. She was like really eager to deliver my baby, and I was like, hell yeah, like, deliver my baby. She's like, before I leave today, because she was only gonna be there for 4 hours or something like that. She's like, before I leave today, I am delivering your baby. And I was like, hell yes. So I like mentally prepared myself. I was like so at ease, like I knew everything was gonna be okay. And I think like within an hour or hour and a half, like, she checks me right away, and she's like, oh, you're ready, like, he's ready to come out. She's like, do you want to start doing like some practice pushes in a minute? And I was like, sure. So I'm like doing practice pushes or whatever, and she's like, wow, like, you're a really good pusher, so this is how you're gonna do it. Like, she's walking me through everything. And then I had told her my concern about tearing, like I didn't want to tear. And at that hospital, they don't do the episiotomies, which is where like they'll cut you a little bit so that you don't tear. They don't do that there. So she was like stretching me out, like literally preparing my body for delivery so that I wouldn't tear. I was just like having a great time. Like, we were having a great time. And then at one point she's like, during the practice pushes, she's like, you know, he might come out, like, because he's super ready and you're pushing really well. He might come out before your doctor gets here. She's like, but don't worry, because I'll just deliver your baby. And I was like, you know what, whatever happens, happens. And she's like, oh my god, like, he has so much hair. Can grandma and dad come look? And I was like, sure, like, of course. So they go and look, and I just like see their faces, like, and my mom like gets teary-eyed, and Alan, like, he was not wheezy or queasy, is that the word? He was not nauseous or anything at all. Like, he took it way better than I thought he was, because I know guys usually like get freaked out, but he did not get freaked out at all. Like, he was so ready to meet his baby as well, and he was so like, I saw his face and he was just like so overjoyed to see the baby's head. Like, he was actually coming. They're just like laughing, we're having a great time. She's like, okay, so I'm gonna have you take a break, because, you know, he really will come if you keep pushing. So I take a break. She's like, if you feel the urge to push, like, let me know and we'll push. And I was like, well, okay. And I'm just like, I think at this point we were almost at the, I woke up at 5, 6, 7, ish or 7:30ish, and after she like got caught up with everything and then checked me, and then we started doing the practice pushes, I think it was around maybe 8ish, 8:15, and she's like, let's give you a break, and if you feel the need to push, let me know, and you're gonna push. So I had my baby at 8:56 p.m. So I remember just looking at my mom and I was like, I want to push. Like with the epidural, I couldn't feel him, but I could feel him. Like I knew where he was, and I like literally felt him like right there, like where they were saying he was. Like I could literally like picture him there and feel him. It's so weird to describe. I don't know how to describe it, but he was right there. Like I knew he was right there, and I just looked at my mom. I wanted to meet him so bad already, and I was just like, Mom, I want to push. And she told her, she's like, she wants to push. She's like, all right, push. She's like, on your next contraction, I'll tell you when to push. And so I started pushing, and she's like, oh yeah, he's coming, he's gonna come. So she calls the other nurse. She's like, hey, like her baby's gonna come, I want you in here just in case like anything does happen. She's like, because she feels the urge to push now. And as I'm pushing, like I think it was like one of the last pushes on my, you know, when you push 3 times during your contraction, and my doctor walks in and she's like, okay, stop, like let's break apart the bed and all that. So they do everything all fast, get all ready, she gets all masked up. So like it's a couple minutes. So he was already ready to come out. So when he goes all the way back up, because you know when you push and it goes back up and push and back up, it's a whole process. She's like, all right, let's push. So I push on the first contraction, and you push 3 times. So I did them, and then on the next set they were like, okay, like this might be the set where he's gonna come. And I was like, all right. So I go and I push, and I, you know, they count to 10, and then I push again, and they were like, literally, they were like, your baby, oh my god, just thinking about the joy and the feeling again. They were like, he's literally going to come, like he is right there. They're like, push, Burgundy, make this last push worth it, because he is going to come. And Alan and my mom were just like, push, he's coming, like he's right there, like they literally could see him. And I was like, oh my god, like he's really coming. I literally didn't want to cry. So I take a deep breath and I fucking push for the hell of me. I think I even pushed after the 10 seconds, and I just hear him cry. And when he hit my chest, I just felt like so complete. And I looked over and I just see, holy crap, this is hard to talk about, even though like everything was good. I see the 2 people that I love the most, Alan and my mom, just hugging and crying, and I was like, oh my god. And they were literally just like hugging and crying, and I was like, just felt so blessed. And I just looked down at him, and I can't even see him. I'm literally stuck under my double chin and my tears, and I'm just like touching him. I'll put in little like live photos right here because we weren't able to record, and I was just like touching him everywhere, and I was like, oh my god, like he's here. And I remember them not hearing them say like 10 fingers 10 toes, and like that's like the one thing I know that they say. And I looked at my mom and I was like, does he have 10 fingers and 10 toes? She's like, yes, he's perfect, like he's perfect. And I remember her telling, they took him from me, and I remember my mom telling Ellen like, go over there, go take pictures, go over there with him. So he went over there with him, and she stood with me because she wanted to be with me. She was like, I remember her telling me, she's like, I told him to go be with his baby because she had to be with her baby, me. I'm so emotional. Hormones, okay, I'll blame hormones. I'm not gonna be able to finish this makeup, I'm sorry. So she was right there with me, and she was like, you did it, like you really did it. And I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I did it, I can't believe he's here. Like I was still trying to process it, and just like the feeling I had was like overjoyed, like over the moon. I'm so choked up. Being a mom, like, he's gonna be 7 weeks now. Being a mom is literally the best, the absolute best feeling ever. It tops anything that I've ever felt in this world. And he's just so perfect. He's so beyond perfect. I remember when they brought him back so that I could do skin to skin. Oh, a lot of you asked if I like tore. So I'm like sitting there like, did I tear? And she's like, no tear, just like a little, like, I can't even remember how she described it. Just like something near my pee hole, and I think like one inside or something like that. It was like 1 or 2 little sutures, but it wasn't tearing. And then I was like up him doing skin to skin before I knew it, and I was just holding him and it felt so surreal. And I'm just looking at him. He looks so much like my brother Daniel, who's in the Navy, and it was just a million things going through my head, but I just knew that I felt so beyond blessed to have him. He just like completed me and Alan. And yes, we do plan on having kids, so our family isn't completed. We do plan on having 1 more, but in that moment I felt so complete. And me and Alan were just over the moon, and so were my parents. And my little sister, we didn't have a lot of people at the hospital. I didn't tell anybody that I was in labor. I didn't want to be overwhelmed. Everything happened so fast. But my labor was such a great experience, and I'm just gonna be choked up the rest of this video. I will never take it for granted, and I'm so thankful that I had a healthy baby, a healthy delivery, and just nothing could have gone more perfect. Like, everything was just perfect, and I literally could not have done it without Alan, my mom, or that damn epidural. But he is just the light of my life. I am so blessed to be his mom. I'm so thankful that he chose me as his mommy, because I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, this is like my ideal perfect life. Mommy was talking about you, did you know? So here's my little man. His name is Elias. His name is Elias James, sorry Nana. And he is the most perfect little boy I have ever laid my eyes on. Aren't you? Yes, you are. Yes, you are such a handsome boy, huh? Mommy's perfect boy. Yes. And I'm just so thankful, like I said. And I'm sorry for being so emotional. And this video probably was all over the place. What's wrong? Are you tired still? So I do have a few questions that I'm going to answer that didn't get answered in mine and my boyfriend's video on Just Us. So someone said, how painful was it after birth? Nothing compared to the contractions. Nothing is literally worse than the contractions. Like, the healing part has been okay. You're just a little uncomfortable, I'd say. Like, for me, since I didn't tear, like the first like 2 days were the hardest, but after that I was good. And I am breastfeeding, so someone was asking how my postpartum body has been, and it's like gone down pretty much, but my hips are bigger, they're like wider, my butt is bigger, my boobs are huge, and other parts of my body are still, you know, like bigger than pre-birth, obviously. Did I start freaking out about labor? I wasn't really freaking out. I didn't really have time to freak out. I was a little nervous, but I didn't freak the fuck out. What are some names you guys thought about? His name was always going to be Elias, no other name. It was more his middle name that was of discussion, but his first name was always going to be Elias. How much does birth really hurt? On a scale of 1 to 10, a 10 because of contractions. Like I said, I got the epidural and I do not regret it, and I don't care what anybody says about that. Do I miss the feeling of his body moving in my tummy? Absolutely, I do. But I love the feeling of him being here, smiling at me and just loving me, because he looks at me like I'm his whole world. Huh, baby? Yes, you are. Yes. My labor was 17 and a half hours. That's a question. I didn't say. My labor was 17 and a half hours. And I never thought about having a natural birth at home. And I'll answer one more. Someone said, have you had any postpartum symptoms? If so, how did you get through it? I haven't had any postpartum symptoms. I don't even know what postpartum symptoms like really are, but I've been good. I feel good. Everything feels good. Everything feels right in my life. And I'm just so beyond blessed at this point. So I think that's gonna wrap up this video. I do plan on doing a lot more videos. He's just fussy and hungry again. He eats a lot. My little Chubbs, my little Chi-Chi monster. He's my little Chi-Chi boy. But yeah, this is gonna wrap up this video, and thank you to anybody who's watching. Leave suggestions for videos down below. Go follow our family channel, Just Us. And yeah, we'll just keep up with you guys on my social medias and on YouTube. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And yeah, thanks for watching. Say bye, baby. Bye, baby. Who's the happy boy? Is that you? Yes. Are you the happy boy?